You ever just stop and wonder what's right around the corner? Well, we're going to do exactly that. We're setting our sights on 2026, and let me tell you, it is already shaping up to be a huge year. We're talking massive global parties, crazy tech shifts, the whole shebang. Let's dive in and see what's on the horizon.
So, what's really going to make 2026 tick? That's the big question we're tackling here. Is it going to be the global celebrations, the breakthroughs we make in space, or the huge shifts happening in our economy? What are the things that will truly shape our world?
To give you a taste of the scale we're talking about, I'm going to throw three numbers at you. First up, 48. That's the record-breaking number of teams getting ready to compete in the biggest FIFA World Cup in history, ever. Okay, next number, 144. 144 years. That's how long one of the world's most incredible buildings has been under construction, and it's finally coming to an end.
And last but not least, 250. This is a huge one. It's a monumental anniversary for the United States, as the nation celebrates its landmark 250th birthday. Pretty big deal, right? So let's dig into what all this really means.
All right, let's start with the stuff we know for sure is happening. These are the dates that are already circled on calendars all around the world, the milestones that are, truly set in stone.
2026 is just stacked. It's a blockbuster year, for real. If you're a sports fan, get ready. The FIFA World Cup, it's going to be the biggest one ever, with 48 teams spread across North America. Then you've got the Winter Olympics making a comeback in Italy, but with this really cool, sustainable setup. And culturally, wow, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, after 144 years, is finally finishing its main structure. And in the US, the country is celebrating its 250th birthday, at the exact same time the legendary Route 66 hits the big 100.
And just look at this timeline. It shows you just how jam-packed the first half of the year is going to be. The Winter Olympics kick everything off in February, then that rolls right into a massive summer. The World Cup starts in June, builds up to that huge final in July, which happens to line up with the massive USA 250 celebrations on July 4th.
Okay, so from these giant events happening right here on the ground, let's turn our eyes up to the sky, because 2026 is also looking like a really pivotal year for our adventures into that final frontier as we take our next big steps beyond Earth. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? It just captures the historic weight of the Artemis 2 mission. I mean, think about it. For the first time in more than 50 years, we are sending astronauts back into deep space. We're literally reopening a frontier of human exploration.
And the crucial thing here is it's not just one mission. NASA's Artemis 2 is going to send 4 astronauts on a flyby around the moon. At the very same time, China's Chang'e 7 mission will have robots on the lunar South Pole searching for water ice, which is absolutely vital for any future bases. And if all goes to plan, we might even see the very first uncrewed SpaceX Starship launch on its long journey to Mars. The new space race is on, and it is truly global.
So we've talked about the events that are already on the calendar. But what about the stuff that's a little less certain, but just as important? Let's look at the major shifts we're expecting for our economy, our technology, and our politics. You're probably going to hear this term a lot: sticky inflation. So what on earth does that mean? Well, economists are predicting that while that crazy inflation we've seen lately will calm down, it's not going to go all the way back to that perfect 2% target. It's expected to kind of linger or stick at a slightly higher rate. And what that means for all of us is that the cost of living could stay a little bit elevated. But here's the surprising part. Even with that sticky inflation, the overall economic picture looks pretty sturdy. We're looking at global growth around 2.8%, and the real engines of that growth, they're expected to be India and Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, the U.S. economy is actually forecast to do better than other developed nations, mostly because of its huge investments in tech. And speaking of tech, that brings us to maybe the biggest question in the entire industry. The race to dominate artificial intelligence is already going at full speed, but by 2026, experts think we could see a major shakeup in who's actually leading the pack. So here's the dynamic. Right now, NVIDIA is king of the hill. They're the ones making the essential AI chips, the hardware, right? But the big prediction for 2026 is that the market's going to shift. As the focus moves from just building the AI to actually using it in software and apps, giants like Alphabet, Google, could come roaring back by figuring out how to make money from those applications. It's a classic battle, hardware versus software. And of course, these tech shifts are going to have real-world consequences.
2026 is predicted to be the year we finally get some solid data on how AI is impacting white-collar jobs. Politically, things could get reshaped by major elections across Latin America and, of course, the US midterms. And on the climate front, well, as record temperatures keep happening, the global conversation is expected to move from prevention to adaptation. Basically, how we're all going to live with a climate that's already changing.
So let's just take a step back and look at the whole picture. What we're seeing is a year of incredible contrasts. You've got these massive global parties for sports and culture, and at the exact same time, we're pushing the absolute limits of human exploration out in space. And holding it all together is this shifting global economy, with new countries taking the lead. Yeah, 2026 is definitely shaping up to be a year of both celebration and transformation.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The big events of 2026, they're on the calendar. The predictions are being made. But the story of the year, that hasn't been written yet. So the question I want to leave you with is this. When you look out at everything that's coming, which of these huge shifts in sports, in space, in tech, or in politics, which one do you think will matter the most?